Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our readings through the deathbed edition of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We now turn to what some will argue is the heart of Leaves of Grass, Song of the Open Road. Now, it may be the most popular single text among the seniors of room 303 that have studied with me for many years, and I will go ahead and dedicate this series of talks over Song of the Open Road to all of the seniors that I've had the real privilege to work with. For many, many years we've read this poem as one of the last things that we will share with seniors together as you get ready to go on your great journey. Of course, we'll say it out loud. This is really Walt Whitman meeting Homer's Odyssey, right? And talking about traveling and walking, especially for those of us who love to walk, right? This is the great walking poem of all walking poems. The assumptions, let's get those out of the way now really quickly, because this is just an introductory set of comments. We're going to give individual lectures over all 15 sections of Song of the Open Road. Certainly worth our time to do so. The assumption is that you have your own copy of Leaves of Grass. I've had students who, in fact, didn't ever consider reading Leaves of Grass until they read Song of the Open Road, and they were like, good night, I didn't realize that there was poetry like this out there in the world. I'm going to buy Leaves of Grass, I'm going to read it all, and my hope is that you've been reading with us at LearnStrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Talks with Walt is what we're calling this series of talks. And I hope that you've been with us from the very beginning at the epigraph and all the way through the inscriptions, all the way up to and including the great Salut au Monde that we just finished, that great tribute poem to all of the peoples of the world, everywhere. He loves the globe. And now, and it makes sense the way he put this thing together, right? Now that he has celebrated the world, why not go out and afoot and lighthearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free. We'll obviously get to the lines in a while. Let's begin though with some background information. Now, as we've been doing through all of our prior lectures, we work with our Nortons, and this is what Norton's has to say about Song of the Open Road. Entitled Poem of the Road in 1856 and 1860, and taking its present title in 1867, this famous second edition poem underwent only slight revision, one line being added in 1881, 10 others being dropped either in 1871 or in 1881. And then Norton says it, of all of Walt Whitman's poems, it perhaps best meets the expectation of the general reader with its elation, its buoyant invitation to adventure, and its confident promise. Yet, as in all the greater poems, its power resides in its symbolic import without diminution of the literal and realistic. W.S. Kennedy has surmised that Walt Whitman found inspiration for this poem in a passage from George Sand's novel Consuelo. Quote, "What is there more beautiful than a road? It is the symbol and the image of an active and varied life. And then that road is the passage of humanity, the route of the universe, so far as the sight can read. The road is a land of liberty." Now, we think, of course, of Whitman as being in that Holy Trinity, as we have often said, Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, both great walkers. And you'll remember in our lectures we've given at LearnStrong.net on both all of the essays of Emerson as well as Walden of Thoreau. You'll remember that we commented on the fact that Thoreau was a walker. He loved to walk. And Emerson even commenting on his strange gait. And of course here we'll have the greatest poem of walking. Now, some have seen Song of the Open Road and the poem To Follow Brooklyn Ferry as the two greatest poems combined. It's as if you have to read the one to read the other. I want to make the argument though, and you'll hear it right away in our opening comments about Song of the Open Road, that in the deathbed edition of Leaves of Grass, so much has already been set up for us. Shall we go back and play the game of echoes before we even begin? Shall we remind ourselves of the great lines from Song of Myself, passage 46? We've given full lectures on this, so I'm not going to exegete. I'm just simply going to, as I finish this intro lecture, remind you of the precious lines at the opening of passage 46. I think that when you meet passage 46 for the very first time, you can easily be blown away by the invitation to take a journey. And then you'll pick it up again with us, I hope, in our study of Song of the Open Road. I know, Whitman says it, I know I have the best of time and space, and was never measured and never will be measured. I tramp a perpetual journey. Come listen all. My signs are a rainproof coat, good shoes, and a staff cut from the woods. No friend of mine takes his ease in my chair. I have no chair, no church, no philosophy. I lead no man to a dinner table, library, exchange. But each man and each woman of you I lead upon a knoll, my left hand hooking you round the waist, my right hand pointing to landscapes of continents in the public road. Not I, not anyone else can travel that road for you. You must travel it for yourself. It's not far, it's within reach. Perhaps you've been on it since you were born and did not know. Perhaps it's everywhere, on water and on land. Shoulder your duds, dear son, and I will mine, and let us hasten forth. Wonderful cities and free nations we shall fetch as we go. If you tire, give me both burdens, and rest the chuff of your hand on my hip. And in due time you shall repay the same service to me. For after we start, we never lie by again. Now, this idea of inviting you as a reader for Whitman to the journey, to the Odyssey, is central to, I think, our reading of Song of the Open Road. Few lines more precious to the seniors who have studied in room 303, and I consider it a great honor to have you come back and for us to begin. Afoot and, oh yes, of course, lighthearted. We'll take to the open road together. Thank you.